What you learned in this chapter is that the story of civilization is the story of communicated ideas. Institutions such as education, law, religion, or medicine would simply not exist in the present state had it not been for the dissemination of information made possible through printing. You read names that you might have not heard of before, such as Tse Lun, the inventor of paper, Henry and Celie Fourdrinier, the inventor of the first automated paper-making machines. And then, of course, there's Gutenberg, Johann Gutenberg, and Nicholas Janssen, and William Caslon, and John Baskerville, and Bodoni, and Frederick Goudy, William Caxton. Many of these people are famous typographers, people who have designed type that have changed the fashion in which print over the centuries looked. Then there was Aldus Manutius, and Stephen Day, and William Rawtenhouse, and Benjamin Harris, John Campbell, and of course Benjamin Franklin. You heard the names such as Peter Smith, Samuel Rust, George Gordon, William Bullock, Ottmar Mergenthaler, who invented the linotype machine, Ira Rubel, who invented the first offset blanket, and then, of course, Alois Senefelder, who invented lithography, and Chesley Colson of Xerox. You learned about developments in the Far East, the Middle East, Europe, and North America. So in review of what you learned in this chapter, the first reproduction of graphic images is believed to have happened between 4500 BC and 3500 BC, with the use of carved stone or metal stamp seals. Other early image reproduction was largely done using clay as a medium. Movable relief images for inkless printing are believed to have been used in Asia Minor around 1700 BC. The suggested use of an alphabet structure and the first known use of reusable images comparable to Gutenberg's relief type over 3,000 years ago was covered in this chapter. So the history of communicating with the written word began between 1085 BC and 950 BC with the manufacture of papyrus and the use of what's called pictography or picture words. Although vastly superior to clay and cheaper than animal skin, papyrus-based paper was not the ideal substrate for writing or eventually printing. The real revolution came from China in 105 AD when the Han Dynasty court official Tse Lun discovered how to make paper from pulp. A mixture of mulberry bark, hemp, linen rag, and water was used. Tse Lun's pulping process for paper making is still used today on highly automated machines costing tens of millions of dollars. The manufacture of paper was improved with the invention of the Hollander beater, a device for beating rags to a pulp, and this took place around 1700. Then, in the early 1800s, a better paper-making machine was funded by prominent paper manufacturers Henry and Celie Fourdrinier. So the machine came to be called the Fourdrinier machine ever since. While it has been improved over the years, the Fourdrinier still remains essentially the same and is the dominant paper-making machine in use today. Today, the development of synthetic paper with no pulp required is becoming mainstream. Indeed, the importance of paper seems to get stronger with every suggestion of a paperless society. The promise of the 21st century is not of paperless communication, but of a process that embraces the quality of paper in new and creative ways. The term substrate should not be limited to paper. Printing can be done on almost any material. In addition to paper, printing can be done on digital paper. Digital paper was first invented by MIT's Media Lab and Xerox Palo Alto Research Center, known as PARC. Okay, I'm going to stop here and continue on another